week 1 was a hit. We thought we'd do it all over again as week 2 of the Borderland Blitz has arrived. Sponsored by Southwest University, I'm Adrian Ochoa, joined by Rachel Phillips and Sam Harasimowicz, that we decided, you know what, we thought we'd bring you to join the crew. You did so well
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Can't wait to get going today.
Well, let's go ahead and get cracking. Take a look at the starting lineup. Our game of the week features 2 of the best teams in the city, one in Class 6A, the other in Class 5A, as the Pebble Hill Spartans took on the Del Valle Conquistadores.
And then we'll head to Northeast El Paso, where the Andress Eagles played host to the Cougars from Franklin.
And then it's on to the blue turf at Canutillo. The Coronado Thunderbirds taking on the Canutillo Eagles. Canutillo looking to bounce back and pick up their first win of the 2023 season.
Slate of games today, and we'll kick things off as we always do with our game of the week. 2 teams that both won their season openers last week. We could call it the battle of champions, so to speak. The Pebble Hill Spartans, the defending 1-6A champs, taking on the Del Valle Conquistadores, the defending champs from District 1-5A D1. Let's head on over to Del Valle, see how this one played out, where the band was jumping tonight. Again, both teams 1-0, but when all was said and done, only one team would pick up their second win of the season. Score was 5-0. Pebble Hill Spartans with the lead at the half, but in the second half, finally the Spartans offense comes together there. As you see, Gael Ochoa with the pass to Emrion Wallace for the touchdown. Then it's the Pebble Hills defense coming up with a big play right here. Cesar Perez for the Spartans says, I will take that, thank you very much, with the INT. Then later, it's Ochoa going to the air this time once again, and this time he's going to connect with Marcus Torres in the end zone for the touchdown. And just take a look, the defense just not letting Del Valle do anything in the second half. As you'll see right here, Del Valle's offense after the celebration there. Oh, we'll go ahead and cut to the scoreboard there. You see Pebble Hills. Again, this game was 5-0. Oh, there we go. You see the Del Valle offense just couldn't get anything going. Pebble Hills defense swarming all over Del Valle. And Del Valle comes away with the win. We'll go ahead and take the scoreboard again. Final score, you see it right there, 33-6. Again, the score was 5-0 at the half, Pebble Hills. So again, the offense waking up in the second half, 33-6. Let's hear from head coach Mark Torres and Gael Ochoa, the quarterback for the Spartans.
There's a reason those guys are champions, and they're tough. They're not going to give you anything. They attacked us. Played really, really good in the defensive interior, so it was hard for us to get anything going in the run game. And we turned the ball over. We had 3 turnovers in the first half, and thankfully our defense played outstanding tonight.
Staying focused was kind of our problem. We came unfocused sometimes. We kind of let our nerves get to us. And overall, as an offense, we didn't play too well, but definitely we came back in the second half and refocused.
So just the difference of what 2 halves makes, 5-0, and then they just light up the scoreboard in the second half.
Pebble Hill is one of the teams picked to go the deepest this year from El Paso. You kind of see them just working into form. Hopefully these games can kind of take them with some experience as the season rolls on.
Absolutely. Now our next game is going to take us to Northeast El Paso. The Franklin Cougars were coming off a big-time win against Centennial last week. They were taking on an Andress team looking to bounce back after a blowout loss to Eastlake. Now the Cougars roared tonight, winning the game by only 4 points. It was a tense game. The Eagles losing on their home field. Franklin's number 7, Shea Smith, fought hard to get the ball. As you can see, there's a quarterback getting a keeper up the middle. Fights hard to get in the end zone for the first quarter. The crowd anxiously watching each play. You can see them there just ready to see their team win, but unfortunately it was Franklin coming out with the win. Now defense working overtime on both teams, trying hard to attempt to reach the end zone. Cougars versus Eagles was a game to watch. You can see some stifling defense right there, but trying to power as Franklin got closer and closer to the goal line. Ultimately, the Cougars couldn't be tamed. Franklin winning this one 46-41.
Yeah, big win there for the Cougs. Shea Smith really orchestrating that offense there. Well, we had another high school version of the Battle of I-10 tonight, guys. The Eastwood Troopers hosting the Las Cruces Bulldogs. Both teams were hoping to pick up their first win of the season. Just take a look at this. Yeah, the troop with a lot to cheer about. Not only was it homecoming, but Eastwood up 20-0 in the second quarter in front of a packed stadium. Las Cruces in the red zone on 1st and goal. Kelly Stevens sacked by 3 troopers. They then bring in Gunnar Goldiola to go under center. And watch this. Looks to throw to the corner and then just the shovel off to Nate Libby. Bulldogs on the board, but down 20-7. And the Troopers, well, hey, they were hungry for more of a buffer. Evan Minhedes with the handoff to Max Mancia, who leaves a scattering of Bulldogs on the ground as he just continues to run it all the way to the 15. And then Minhedes, the experienced QB he is, just takes care of the rest. Watch it here. Waits a little, pops back inside, dodges a few Bulldogs, and yep, that's a touchdown. Eastwood on homecoming go on to win 55-28. Can we get a Trooper clap for Adrian?
There it is. Yeah, and on homecoming night, good performance there. Yeah, 55-28 over the Bulldogs. Awesome stuff. Well, our next stop, the Blue Turf over at Canutillo High School, where it was the Eagles taking on the Coronado Thunderbirds. Coronado looking to go 2-0 on their season, while Canutillo looking for a bounce back after a tough loss to Pebble Hills last week. In the first quarter, Coronado's defense comes up big. Canutillo quarterback Jeremiah Knox scrambling, trying to make something happen, but you'll see right there, he coughs it up. We got to scramble for the ball. And it's Coronado coming up with it, and they're within striking distance from 2 yards out right here.
Scott Brooks must have just hated that. Yeah, that would have him seething.
The snap to Thomas Murray, and he'll waltz right on in. Coronado up 7-0. The T-Birds, though, would fumble the ball on a punt return. Canutillo recovered, so they're in prime position right here. Knox knocking on the door right here, and he's going to keep it himself. And Jeremiah Knox stretches over the goal line. Welcome to End Zone City. Game tied at 7 at that point. And watch this play on Coronado's next drive. Owen Levesky gonna launch this one down the field to the waiting arms of Kason Golding. And if that name sounds familiar, that's the son of UTEP head basketball coach Joe Golding. I saw Coach Golding at the game tonight. Must have loved that play. Then later in the drive in the second quarter, it's Murray again. He'll get his second touchdown of the night. That made it 13-7 Coronado. Extra point was no good. But in the end, the Canutillo Eagles, the Eagle mascot, very happy with this news. They go on to win this one in a close one by a final score of 21-19. Canutillo gets their first win of the season.
Massive comeback for the Eagles right there. Let's take you back to the Northeast, though. Another 6A versus 5A showdown between the Aztecs and the Huskies. Both teams starting 0-1, but take a look at this. The dash right there from Brent Hallman. He takes it all the way, I think, for the touchdown. Then right after the half, El Dorado putting the ball up in the air on a platter. That is a touchdown for the Aztecs, and that should make things even.
Diego Carrasco. That's what the name was for the Aztecs.
Look at that.
Student section loving it.
Going crazy.
Yeah. Huskies on the prowl. They get a massive stop right there. And look, El Dorado, though, they go on to win this one 34-17.
Big game right there. We head on over to the SAC, the East Lake Falcons hosting the Rams from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Now, first up, quarterback Race. Now the Rams getting out there, running out of the tunnel. Quarterback Race Ramirez with a pass to Dominic Valencia for a short touchdown right there. Now from East Lake, number 12. You see the celebration right there? Now, Falcons getting ready to respond, but East Lake, number 12, Luke Lamelli with a pass to number 11. You see him right there, strike over the middle. What an absolute dart to Ivan Medrano for the touchdown, and he's just fired up, as the Falcons crowd is too. Now, Julius Acosta for another East Lake touchdown. He's going to take a direct snap. You know, guys, stuff like that's almost too easy. He's just sort of waltzing right in up the middle. Student section can't get enough of it. East Lake winning this one. Absolute blowout, 35-7.
El Paso 2-0 against the New Mexico schools today.
Yeah, let's take you to the early game at the SAC. It featured the San Angelo Central Bobcats taking on the Montwood Rams. The Rams looking for their first win of the Ivan Rangel era, and Isaiah Claudio helping with that. He draws things back even off a 2-yard run into the end zone. Yeah, Rams pumped up about it.
So
game tied at 7 there. Rams would keep pace all game, but San Angelo, they go on to win it in a tight one, 35-33. So Montwood still looking for their first win of the season. They start 0-2.
Still a good performance against a tough San Angelo Central squad, though. Nothing for the Rams to be ashamed of. Speaking of next week, we already might be game of the week. We still might
he's
need to,
calling them early
might
this
need to,
season.
just because with everything played
We're
out.
building anticipation every Friday.
Eastwood with the good performance against Las Cruces. Pebble Hills coming out in the second half, taking down Del Valle. They're squaring off. District play 1-6A starts next week, and that's the first one for the district game for those two teams. Pebble Hills, Eastwood. That's the pairing.
Potentially could be the game of the year.
Potentially, we'll convene. We'll have our meeting as we always do, and we'll come up with that decision later in the week. But we got plenty more to come here on the Borderland Blitz. A lot more to talk about. Coming up, we'll check in with the Riverside Rangers as they paid a visit to Mustang Country, taking on the Burgess Mustangs. We'll also go to Austin High, where the Panthers played host to the Parkland Matadors. Parkland looking to go 2-0 on their season. Also, there you see it. Can't forget about the War of the Week with Edie's. That's coming up right after the break.
One.
Alex Flores here, and I am so proud to announce the grand opening of the most amazing service department here at Bravo Cadillac. From brakes to tune-ups, we handle all GM vehicles and provide you with a top-of-the-line service experience. Our goal is oil change, car wash, and vacuum in under 90 minutes. Walk-ins are always welcome, shuttle service available, as well as pickup and delivery. The all-new Bravo Cadillac Service Department. Who are we? Bravo!
I'm a hairdresser. I'm a beauty expert. I'm Ken Pavis. My mom was always there for me and always reminded me that I was enough. We received a phone call confirming that my mom had ALS. It really felt like a death sentence, so we avoided it. My mom and I have learned to find happiness in ALS. It makes me realize even more what it could never take away from her. Together we can end ALS.
News doesn't stop on weekends, and neither does ABC7. Whether you're an early riser or like to sleep in, ABC7 has more choices than ever to start your Saturday right. Good Morning El Paso is on from 6 to 7. It's GMA Weekend from 7 to 8. Good Morning El Paso is back from 8 to 9. Then GMA again from 9 to 10. For weather, traffic, sports, and complete coverage of breaking news, it's Good Morning El Paso and GMA. Saturday mornings from 6 to 10.
Based on those uniforms, that's El Paso High.
You
right?
could tell the stripes gave it away.
I like it. I like it. You know, being I was in the band at Eastwood and at UTEP. Those are some nice uniforms, band uniforms. I definitely would rock those. Tiger stripes.
Absolutely.
Tiger's just a good mascot in general. I would like to be a tiger.
I mean, we got so much great tigers in this town.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl joke.
I
didn't think anyone got it. I had to explain. It was also a football reference.
It was a great joke.
I know, it's not when you have to explain it.
Right.
Back to the highlights. The Bel Air Highlanders had a great showing in their win against Irvin last week, putting up 60 points. Irvin, though, is a 4A school. Tonight, the Highlanders taking it up a notch as they played host to the Socorro Bulldogs out of District 1-6A. Opening kick at Highlanders Stadium. You'll see Bel Air's Noah Moreno here. Campers in the first Highlander touchdown right there.
Stays on his feet the whole way in.
Made it 7-0 Bel Air. Then on fourth down here, we thought we were going to get a field goal, but it's the fake.
Everyone loves a fake.
Bel Air's Ivan Diaz to Mark McCuby for the second.
Someone say sweet play of the week nominee.
Bel Air's making a case.
Spoiler alert, Rachel.
Right here. That made it 14-0 Bel Air. Then Socorro's Durante Rasher. That's a nice name, Rasher.
That's a football name.
Gonna throw a bomb right here, but unfortunately Thrasher's gonna get thrashed right there. He gets picked off by Highlander Mark McCuby, who's gonna take it back. Yeah, the pick six complete. Bel Air rolling in
Look
this
at number
one.
23 right there, arms in the air, like that's my guy. I did nothing, but that's my guy.
A homecoming night for the Bel Air Highlanders. They went home happy tonight as they win it 61-7 to improve to 2-0 on their season.
Let's take you to Mustang Country now. Both Riverside and Burgess looking for their first win of the season. Third quarter, Riverside up 42-27. Mustangs find themselves in scoring territory, but fumble on the play, and they say Riverside recover. But the Rangers, with a lot of work to do to work it downfield and put some more points on the board. But the 5'1" pocket rocket of Noah Ramirez does that play after play for the Rangers. Look at how he just beats guys right here. And then watch how many need to get him to ground. That's like 8 or 9 or 10 Burgess Mustangs taking him to ground off the back of Ramirez. Rangers in the red zone. And Ramirez They don't go to him. Derek Vasquez, he takes it himself, runs it into the house. And that right there for a score. Riverside hold on to win just 52-45 right there.
Now let's head on over to Central El Paso. It was the Austin Panthers hosting the Parkland Matadors. Nice little band to get you some pregame entertainment. We're going to start things off in the first quarter. Parkland QB Eric Ortiz to Jesus Molina right over there. Little slant route, makes a nice move, cuts to the outside, and even gets a little help from the defense. Gets him over the line. Matadors up 7-0 in the first quarter. Switching on over to the second quarter. Parkland at the 1-yard line. Ortiz with the keeper. He's going to duck his head down, and that is another touchdown, making it 13-3. Matadors missing that extra point. However, Austin finally getting into the end zone here. You see them running a pistol formation. It's the big man, Jeremiah Parrish, takes it to the outside, dives across the goal line, and that is in for 6 for Austin. But it wouldn't be enough as the Parkland Matadors improved to 2-0 on the season. They get a big old win right here over the Austin Panthers, 42-10.
See the Matador and Bull, they're very happy with that result there.
Yeah, well,
all Parkland.
Sure, Coach Lee McWhirter also happy with that one. Let's take you out though. El Paso Tigers paying a visit to Excalibur Stadium. Just learned what that meant, supposedly from medieval times. Hanks Knights, who are looking to start the Scott Belize era off 2-0 and in a good spot to do so. Marcus Porter's back on the inside to Jude Blanco. Keeps his legs moving into the end zone. Knights would grab a 2-point conversion and an 8-point lead off the back of that. Watch him. Yep, I represent Hanks, guys. El Paso trying to make something happen, but Martin Gonzalez with the fumble. He recovers, but that's a large loss of yards on that play. And then the very next play, Gonzalez looking for open guys, and before he can get, the pocket collapses and he is sacked. El Paso turn it over on downs, and the Knights capitalize on the field position. Yep, brute force from the Knights defense right there. Potters finds Blanco again, and watch the legs churn this time all the way to the house. I wasn't as quick as him, so I couldn't get to the other side of the field, so you're watching it from behind. But come on, that's another touchdown. Hanks win it 37-20.
What a start for Hanks' new head coach, Scott Belize.
Yeah, awesome.
Two great performances the first couple weeks of the season.
Turning around the program, and yeah, Hanks rolling right now. Well, it is that time, as you'll see behind us, with the graphic, and then as you'll see behind us, it's time for the War of the Week. Rachel, you were out at that one yesterday.
It was loud.
And
It should be.
And it was a good one. El Paso versus Odessa. So we had that to look forward to, and we're gonna send it over to the War of the Week host, Iris Garcia Barron. She joins us from the SAC.
Welcome back to another War of the Week. We're at the SAC Stadium. We have Odessa Broncos versus America Trailblazers. All right, still here. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that the winner's gonna get a $50 gift card, thanks to Southwest University. Do you have any last words?
Broncos on top, y'all are over.
Do you have any last words?
Blazer Nation.
Yeah. All right, you heard it here first. All right, ladies, are you ready? 1, 2, go! All right, you saw another great War of the Week. Make sure and tune in every single week during football season to see who's next. This is Iris Garcia Barron here with ABC7.
Just alert that no cheerleaders were harmed in the making of that War of the Week. We checked, they were all good.
I hurt my knees just watching that, falling in the turf.
My jaw, I can't pick. That was a whopping.
Yeah, it was
the torque from America's high school.
Shout out to Americas, because those Steelers went and checked on the other team there to make sure they were fine too. So it was good sports. We had some fun out there, but loud, maybe the loudest I've ever been a part of.
Congrats to Americas representing El Paso, getting the win for the Sun City over the Odessa team. Well, let's go ahead. We'll have plenty more to come after the break. We got some more highlights to get to. We'll stop at Clint High School, where the Clint Lions were playing host to the Isleta Indians. We'll also check in with Bowie versus Horizon. And we'll head over to the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, where Oregon Mountain took on the Mayfield Trojans.
Paso, Best Deal Auto Group is sponsoring $1,000 to any private or public youth sports team. Here's how to enter, El Paso. Make sure you like and follow us on our social media and post the video to Instagram and tag us. Make sure to tell us about your team and why you need the sponsorship.
Enter right now for your chance to win $500 for your youth sports team. 2 winning teams will be notified on August 29th and announced on September 1st.
And that best deal, we don't get you a good deal, we'll get you the best deal.
Tired of the traditional psychiatric approach that includes multiple medications that do not work or cause side effects? El Paso TMS Clinic has been modernizing the treatment of depression for the past 3 years. We're the only local clinic to incorporate EEGs, brain mapping, and advanced technology for TMS, giving us more precise, customized, and effective treatment results based on your brain activity.
We are proud to bring innovative treatments for the mental health of our community.
El Paso TMS Clinic, healing minds and helping hearts.
It's Mattress Firm's best Labor Day sale ever. This weekend only, get great doorbuster deals. Mattress protectors only $39 or free pillows. Plus, enter to win a free TV with select mattress purchases. Save $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable sets. And save up to $800 on Stearns & Foster adjustable sets. Get $300 instant credit with either. We offer free 3-hour same-day delivery and 0% interest for 72 months.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Got a few more highlights to get to. Let's go ahead and start in Clint, where the Lions had their home opener tonight against the Isleta Indians. Isleta coming off a 1-point win against Riverside last week. Remember, they were also our Tweet Play of the Week winners.
Been a big week for the Isleta Indians. Could they keep it going?
Right here, Evan Martinez looking good so far with the keeper to score the first touchdown of the game. Isleta on the board early, and then later it's the Lions going to strike back with the handoff right here. Oh, no, faked out the cameraman, the handoff, and yeah, punch it, count it. Clint on the board. Then again, we'll go back to Isleta. Isleta going to respond, and it's Martinez with the pass to Alonso Rodriguez for the touchdown. Isleta was looking to go 2-0, but the Clint Lions had other ideas for them as Clint hands Isleta their first loss of the season. Clint, meanwhile, gets their first win of the season. 28-24 was the final. Clint with the dub.
Upset City in my book. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Clint's a good team. Clint's a good team. They played a tough freshman squad last
Well, guys, let's take it over to Scorpion Stadium. Horizon looking to stay undefeated, but this is Bowie. They're going to come out strong, and they struggled last week against Hanks. That was a little play action there, finding Antonio Ontiveros in the back of the end zone. But Hanks' defense will get going. They're going to stifle them. And, guys, you can't see it here, but this turned into a 4th and 39. Now, this is the opposite of the sweet play of the week. A fake punt on almost 4th and 40. No one touches it, but there's the penalty marker because it's intentional grounding in the end zone, and the whole team, all of Horizon's waiting for the signal. They see it, and they are hyped for the safety. It was 7-2 right there, but then we want to show you the final score of this one. Scorpions 28, Horizon Bowie 28, Horizon 16. Now, heading over, Irvin taking on Jefferson at Silver Fox Stadium. Which team will get their first win of the stadium? The season, well, we'll kick things off at the start of the second half. And guys, not a lot of offense in this third quarter. Irvin was up 7-3 on Jefferson. Not a scoring explosion. But here's a little pass out for Irvin into the flat there for a nice gain. But again, not a lot of points at the board. But this was a fun one. Silver Fox QB Jesus Gomez with seconds dwindling down. He botched that snap, but then he picks it up, takes it down for about a 30-yard gain. But
good QBs make the most of what's given to them.
Exactly, but unfortunately not enough for the home team in this one as Irvin gets the win in a low-scoring contest, 10-3.
That band director very happy with that score there. Let's go ahead and recap some of the scores for you. We begin over with Tornillo taking on Fabens, and it's the Fabens Wildcats getting the win over the Coyotes in a shutout, 45-0. Next up, San Elizario on the road taking on Pecos, and it's unfortunately San Eli coming away with a loss in this one as Pecos all over San Eli in the Battle of the Eagles, 49-0. Over in Anthony, the Anthony Wildcats head coach Stevenson, his first game with the Anthony. Remember, Anthony's game last week was canceled because of the weather. Anthony, though, starting the season 1-0. They get the win over Hot Springs. Big time win, 62-7. Well, let's take it across state lines. We're over at the Field of Dreams. It was the Mayfield Trojans taking on the Oregon Mountain Knights. Remember, Mayfield's game last week against Andress was canceled because of the weather. So they were fired up and ready to go, looking for their second win of the season. On their first drive of the game here, Trojans going to find pay dirt. The handoff to Anthony Navades right up the middle, and he'll take it to the house. Trojans up 6-0. The extra point was no good. Then later in the first quarter, Trojans knocking on the door again, and it's Navades again. Same result. His second touchdown of the night. Mayfield up 13-0. Second quarter, Trojans. Oh, they continue to pile it on, and this one was too easy. They're going to go to the air, and it's just a pitch and catch. Luke Lennon to a wide open Zayden Salcedo right in the end zone. That made it 20-3 Trojans. Mayfield wins this one by a final of 40-10. The Trojans improved to 2-0 on the season, while Oregon Mountain, unfortunately, still looking for their first win, 0-3.
Yeah, Mayfield now the only team in the area of Las Cruces who is still undefeated on this season. They hold that one on. Let's take you now to another score, Gadsden-Alamogordo. Surprised to see this one, Alamogordo get a 7-0 win over Gadsden. Gadsden started the season 2-0 for the first time in decades, and were trying to go 3-0, but couldn't quite get there. Alamogordo getting the win there. And then Santa Teresa also playing Lovington. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the season. And Lovington, well, they do it in emphatic fashion, 58-7 over the Santa Teresa Desert Warriors. Another score to get you to Chaparral and Ruidoso. Once again, these two teams both looking for their first win as well, and it'll be the Ruidoso Warriors coming out on top in a close one, 21-18 over the Chaparral Lobos.
Well, we gave the $50 gift card to the America's cheerleaders. Now we're going to give another $50 gift card.
I feel like Oprah.
Yeah.
You get a gift card. You get a gift card. You get a gift card. Just giving them out.
And Sam is the one doing, has the honors. He's got the winner of the Blitz pick for week 2.
All right, you know, I just want to clarify, we pick all of these at random, so I don't want anyone to be disappointed if you don't win. We appreciate every single submission. We got so many great ones. Want to take you through a couple, and here's a great shot of the stadium and the team's mountain view against Cathedral. Here's a nice team ready to get to the line of scrimmage, Tigers and the Knights. Another great submission we got was Parkland and Osman, but this is actually the freshman game. But next up, guys, I want to show you our winner this week. This is Anita Aguirre. She's a big Franklin fan, and she says it right here. Her grandson is the kicker for the Franklin Cougars. So congratulations, Anita, and your grandson. And what a fun week, and we're making sure to reach out to you. Hope you're watching. Thanks again to everyone who submitted.
You know, that's so cool. She's a proud grandma right there.
Yeah, you just never know. Submit any pick. Again, it's chosen at random, as Sam explained. So he's not the one making the calls.
No.
It's just a random thing.
But Adrian, you know, I think if Blitz submitted some Blitz picks, he's probably winning every week, because the guy gets around town. But of course, he wants to keep things fair and kosher. But just take a look at some of the picks he snagged this week. Yeah, he was taking photos, guys. That's how cool Blitzy is behind the camera. But, you know, he decided, I want to get in on some photos too. There with the cheerleaders of Americas. They crowned him homecoming king. I mean, look at the bear go. Hanging out with the mascot. And, you know, he made sure to check in with security, make sure everything's, you know, top-notch, things are locked down. And he got the thumbs up or approval. Good to go there. Of course, you know, getting with all the cheerleaders. But he's a man of the people, guys. He goes
got a
around
fan
town.
club, Rich.
Yeah, and guys, you know, eventually he was like, oh, I should probably get back to work here. So he got back behind the camera to make sure we were getting all the...
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, Denzel Washington, Hunter Schafer, and music from 21 Pilots. And now, Jimmy Kimmel.
From week 2. That's after the break. Well, let's go ahead and look at our sweet play of the week winner. Rachel, you picked the nominees over the weekend.
Yeah, we got the whole weekend crew in to divulge and look at them all, and this is one of them.
DeAndre Jackson for Isleta High School, a 55-yard touchdown pass. It was a short pass. But you just see Mr. Jackson taking
Look at the
care
wheels.
of the rest. Yeah, showing off the speed.
And he had 2 touchdowns back to back in that game, and both of them we were like, which one is better? Because they were both so good and could have been Sweet Player of the Week nominees. And
you were thinking cupcakes.
I was watching the cupcakes.
The cupcakes right there. I had the pleasure of going to Isleta, doing the presentation with the Indians, and those cupcakes, courtesy of Albertsons, look very good. There was one shot I wanted to bring up to your attention here to take a look. He grabbed 2. Normally you're supposed to just get 1, but he's an offensive lineman though.
That would have been my cupcake. I missed my cupcake for the
Adrian,
week.
DeAndre Jackson, he's really that. He's even taller than he looks.
And you know, also with DeAndre, he missed practically all last season with an injury.
Wow.
This is his comeback here, so he's
off to
great
the
game last
races.
week. Yeah, very great kid, and congratulations to the Isleta Indians on the winners of the Sweet Play of the Week. Of course, week 2, we got some more business to take care of. Who's getting the cupcakes next week? A lot of good plays that we saw today.
See. There's a couple up there.
Let's go ahead and recap the scores from week 2 as we begin with our game of the week. Pebble Hills getting the win out over Del Valle, 33-6. San Andress Central winners over Montwood in a close one, 35-33. Parkland gets the dub over Andress, 46-41. Eastwood over Las Cruces, 55-28. Canutillo over Coronado, 21-19, and Chapin over El Dorado, 34-17.
Then next up, you've got Bel Air with that massive win over Socorro, 61-7. East Lake beating out Rancho, 35-7. Riverside in a close one with Burgess, 52-45 for their first win of the season. Hanks getting the dub over El Paso, 37-20 to make Scott Belize start his era at 2-0. Then Irvin over Jefferson, 10-3, and Parkland getting a dub over Austin, 42-10.
And for the next batch of scores, we got Bowie over Horizon, 28-16. Clint beating Isleta. It was actually 28-24. Isleta getting a close last-second field goal. Paso stomping over San Elizario, 49-0. And Fabens again blanking Tornillo, 45-0. Anthony winning 62 over Hot Springs, and Mayfield smoking Oregon Mountain, 40-10.
Final scores here to get to. Alamogordo over Gadsden in a low-scoring affair, 7-0. Lovington all over Santa Teresa, 58-7. And those 2 games on the right were from last night. Odessa over Americas, 22-20, and Mountain View over Cathedral, 41-15.
And still one more high school game to go. That'll be tomorrow morning out at Las Cruces. I'll be bringing you those highlights tomorrow night, of course.
And it's going to be a busy day because we also have UTEP and NMSU playing. UTEP's home opener against Incarnate Word. We're in NMSU hosting Western Illinois. Both teams looking for bounce backs as well after going 0-1 in week 0.
It was not the way they wanted to start the season. Maybe they can turn things around, both of them playing FCS schools. So on that alone, you hope so. But Incarnate Word, they're a good FCS school. And all 3 of us will bring you all the sports coverage tomorrow. Sammy will be here in studio, and Adrian and I will be out at those games for complete coverage right here on ABC7.
Well, that's going to do it for week 2. We'll see you in week 3. Have a good night, everyone.
Sammy, you smashed your debut, mate. Well done.
Did my best.